What's going on, guys? Today I'm just going to be talking about Safemoon. After being one of the first investments that I ever had was Safemoon. I was completely new to DeFi, figuring out pancake swap, slippage, what is a coin versus a token, what is liquidity, all that jazz. And many of us were new as well. So after covering it for a long time, I slowly started to realize some things. And now looking back, I think I realized why Safemoon never could have worked. And I'm going to show you how the reflections, the liquidity, how those actually made it so that, and the whale domination made it so that Safemoon never could have done what everybody wanted it to do. So I'm going to be going right into that because I know this is going to be live and people might be watching it back. So first off, I'm going to talk about the problems of why, what would have stopped, and I don't think anybody's ever talked about this before, but like what would have stopped Safemoon from going up in price? Well, there's really a couple factors. Obviously, you have the whales, the whale dominance, and we saw that every time that there was an announcement or something with Safemoon, the whales never bought more. They always just used it to sell. And so really the number one problem of why Safemoon could not have gone to the moon for people or created tons of volume was because of the whale dominance. And so we're going to find that really all the problems are attached to the whale dominance. But here's something that people didn't realize, and I realized it probably, I don't even know, probably a year into covering Safemoon. I started to realize that not only is the whale dominance the problem, but there's something that's making it worse. So in every crypto project, whale dominance is basically the number one thing that's going to stunt or stop the growth of the project, and the project's going to die. As soon as whales take profit, they tank the charts, they pull the massive amount of value out of the liquidity pool, then the project's dead, the sentiment's gone, and you have people left hoping that something's going to revive the charts and bring it back to life. But I realized that what was supposed to be an amazing thing actually made whale dominance even stronger than in any other project. Whale dominance is a problem. In Safemoon, it was a really big problem, and I'll tell you why. It's because reflections amplified whale dominance. It made it even worse. And so the biggest holders of the project who can determine the sentiment, determine the price, are also getting the most amount of reflections, tens of thousands of dollars of value that they could just keep selling. And so reflections actually amplified the problem that holds cryptos back from succeeding in the first place. So we have the number one problem is the whale dominance, and we have the reflections. However, the second problem is liquidity as well. And here's the problem with liquidity is the more liquidity you have, the less volatile the price is, right? But that applies to both upward movement and downward movement. So yes, it's a good thing that when a bunch of sells happen, if you have a ton of liquidity, it's not going to affect the charts as much. But it also applies in that upward direction as well. If you have a ton of liquidity, it makes it harder to go up as well. So Safemoon had a ton of liquidity because of that, what they were doing, with the 5% that was being, going to liquidity, being paired with the BNB, the Safemoon and the BNB, equal amount being put in, and it creates value. And that actually, I think, in a sense, it was a good thing, but at a certain point, it would just make it too hard for the price to go up. And the whales were not, as soon as we had announcement of blockchain or announcement of a wallet or anything big that happened, the whales would just take profit. The whales were paying attention to what all the people underneath them were believing. They were letting them buy up all these opportunities because they thought, oh, the price is about to go insane, we better buy. That's what everybody was thinking, right? Whenever we had any kind of announcement or release a utility, if we release the blockchain, the price is going to go crazy. This is what everybody was thinking. The whales were not thinking that. The whales were thinking, we're going to sell after all you guys buy. We're going to sell. We're going to sell the news every time you guys buy the dip. We're going to sell the news, and they were doing it the whole time. The problem, or one of the problems, was obviously, and I'm not going to go too heavy into this, the liquidity was drained. Like over $200 million was drained in the liquidity. That was basically yours and every other whale's to sell. If that liquidity wasn't pulled out, then you would have been able to sell that. If you were a whale, you would have been able to sell that. So the liquidity was a good thing in a sense, but combined with the whale dominance, combined with the reflections, it made it so uh, that the value couldn't had too many factors keeping it from going up. Uh, the whale dominance problem, the reflections were making the whales even stronger, and they had all the whales had way too much power to sell and bring down the charts, and we were never ever able to counter that with higher buying pressure. Every time there was buying pressure on the charts, if you go look at the charts for Safemoon, it was always immediately followed by sell pressure, and the sell pressure always outweighed the buying pressure. And so this is what I would say about Safemoon when it comes to this. And I am going to get to something that's important, which is like, how do you fix these problems? The reflections, was it just a dead problem, or could it be fixed? The liquidity, is that a terrible thing, or is it better to not add liquidity so that the price can go up more? And the whale dominance, the number one reason of what holds cryptos back, how do you deal with that in a way that actually allows a project to grow? Because the reason that every single person who got into Safemoon is because they thought they were going to go safely to the moon. That's the only reason you got into Safemoon, is because it says Safemoon. That means it's going safely to the moon. It said it had reflections. It said it had liquidity that helps ensure the stability of the price, and it did. But then that liquidity was drained. But what people really wanted was just to go safely to the moon. They want their bag to go and do 100x or 1000x. That's really all everybody in Safemoon. That's the reason you were in Safemoon. Yeah, you might have gotten convinced of that passive income from the reflections, but that was actually never possible. The amount of volume that would have had to have happened for everybody who got in way too late would have been astronomical. To have that kind of volume on an insane basis in order to actually provide Safemoon that you have to then sell. You have to sell that Safemoon to get your reflections. You'd have to have hundreds of thousands of holders selling Safemoon, and so much volume and buying volume, not to mention, to counter that in order for that to be sustainable. It's not sustainable. It never was, and we were new to crypto and we didn't realize it. But I realize it now, and I actually do know how to fix all of these problems, and I'm going to show you guys how Safemoon could have fixed these problems with a new contract. They could have done that. So first off, whale dominance is a problem with every single cryptocurrency. If you're listening to this or you're in crypto, you realize that what prevents a project from growing is that the early buyers sell. As soon as they sell, the project's dead. On to the next project. Hope this one does better. They sell, on to the next project. All we're doing is we're going from project to project, and we're fueling the early buyers. They can't even hold that long before the project dies, and we're hoping that we get in that 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 10,000 or 1 out of a million project that actually blows up, and that you're an early buyer in one of those projects. Well, why do whales have so much dominance? It's because of how the liquidity pool works, right? If you launch a project, and we'll just use Safemoon, you have a wallet or a contract that has all of that Safemoon in it, and then you have to send value in to get the tokens out, right? So you have to, it's on the BNB chain, so you take BNB, say, sweet, I want some Safemoon, send your BNB in, and then it sends you Safemoon out. The problem, this is where the whale dominance comes in, and this is where the number one problem of why a project fails comes in, is because this is happening in a pyramid structure. That first buyer right here, the price that they had to pay was like almost nothing for those tokens. And also you have people like Kyle pulling out tokens, because he could just remove liquidity. So the price you pay is nothing, right? You pay $100 and then this person comes on. Now to get that price, they'd have to pay 100,000 or maybe even 1,000,000, right? Because that's how the structure works. As people buy, the price gets higher and higher, and the ability to pull more tokens out gets smaller and smaller. And so you do have a pyramid-like structure that what that does is it creates insane sell pressure in the hands of a few people. That's what the whale dominance is. It's massive sell pressure in the hands of a few people. And it's up to them. They're usually not talking to each other. It's just you and a bunch of other people. Tommy OC, welcome to the Control Squad. Thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate that. once you're not communicating with these whales, and so as soon as one whale sells, every other whale usually panics and wishes they would have sold, and it usually creates a lower ceiling that is, if the price goes up, the whales are going to sell there. And I think we saw that with Safemoon's chart. As it went down, the whale ceiling of what they were selling on kept getting lower and lower. So whale dominance, honestly, is the problem that every single crypto is facing. And I'm going to show you how they could have fixed that. But first, we're going to go on to the other two problems real fast. And we're going to show how there's one solution that fixes all these problems. Reflections. if we were all duped, and I was too. Reflections never would have worked. It never would have worked. It only worked for the whales. Reflections only made the whales even stronger. And the reason that it didn't is because the whales are getting the most value, and we're just barely getting tens of dollars of Safemoon, and it's not enough for us to sell. We're trying to get as much Safemoon as possible so we can get more Safemoon, right? But it only mattered for the whales. And as the whales sold their Safemoon, they brought down the price of Safemoon by, I don't even know, 90+%, which meant that the tiny amount of Safemoon that all us smaller holders were getting, that $5, $10, $20 worth of Safemoon, even that lost its value because they were selling. So reflections only made whales stronger, and it didn't benefit the little guy. It just gave us a false sense of hope that actually was never true, but we all believed it. We fell for it. I'm just being real. So we have the whale dominance, we have reflections, and then we have the potential problem of liquidity. I actually probably do lean towards thinking the liquidity was a good thing, but because John pulled out 200 million out of liquidity and Kyle pulled out a bunch as well, it didn't happen. But if you do have a lot of liquidity, it does make it harder for the price to go up. So if you have a ton of liquidity in the liquidity pool, then it's harder for the price to go down, right? But it's also harder for it to go up. You don't get just the best of both worlds. The easier it is for the price to move up, the easier it is for it to move down, and vice versa. So it could be that if you were hoping for the price of Safemoon to explode, actually having less liquidity would have made it more possible, because it would have had easier upward momentum instead of having to account for what is in the liquidity pool, slowing it down. So how do you fix all three of these things? What could have Safemoon have done to prevent all of these things? Well, it would have been in how do you fix the pyramid-like structure of the liquidity pool? How do you fix reflections? And just enhancing the whale dominance? And how do you account for having such a high liquidity that it makes the price harder to go up? Well, I would say this. Rewards. This actually solves all of these things. I'm going to show you how. And I think that anybody who hears this and understands this understands that it's not just some idea that I'm saying, it's just the truth. It's just what's actually happening. When you talk about people are seeking the value in the liquidity pool, that's not a theory, that's just obvious. Everyone wants the value in the liquidity pool. They're hoping to put a little bit of value in, and they're hoping that a bunch of people put a ton of value in so that they can pull out their value and be a giant red candle on the charts. Everybody wants to be a giant red candle. The problem is that the liquidity pool works like a pyramid structure and incentivizes the death of the project, because the game of the liquidity pool that we're all playing is to sell before everybody else and get a bunch of people in after you that you can sell on them. That's the game we're all playing. As much as we might be yeah, we're community and yeah, we're doing this, the truth is that we're all hoping that our bags go up a bunch and that a bunch of people buy in after us, so that we can sell on them. That's what everybody wants. That's the game of the liquidity pool. It puts us against each other, and it makes it so that we're not actually united in our incentives. We're actually divided. We're only united into our selling points. And so liquidity pools provide a pyramid-like structure that stops projects from growing, because it incentivizes whales to sell on each other. The winner of any project is the one who sells at the top. When you sell, you destroy the project, you destroy the sentiment. Whoever sells the most is the biggest winner. I mean, if you think about that, that means that the person who's winning the most is the one who's doing the most damage to the future of the project. Can you think about that? That's insane. How do you fix that? The liquidity pool is a wealth distribution mechanism. It gathers wealth and then it redistributes it. And it does it in a pyramid-like structure, right? Wealth distribute mechanism. So if I was saying this is the number one problem that every single project faces is whales getting too much power, tanking the project, killing its growth, and not allowing for the project to grow. How do you fix that? Well, you probably have to fix it with a wealth distribution mechanism. Okay, what's another way to counter that wealth distribution mechanism? Instead of incentivizing the death of the project, putting everybody at odds with each other, actually incentivizing the growth of the project. Well, it's going to be through what Safemoon had, but not reflections. It is a tax. It is tokenomics, because tax and tokenomics are methods of wealth distribution. We're able to add tax and tokenomics so that everything coming into the liquidity pool and out of the liquidity pool has to go through these tax and tokenomics. And these tax and tokenomics are going to change the incentives of the pyramid structure that incentivizes the death of the project to a structure that incentivizes the growth of that. How do you do that? You can't do it through reflections. If the value that people are getting is tied to the token and the LP, when the LP goes down, the value of that reflections goes down as well. Those are meaningless and worthless. How do you change that? It's very simple, right? Change it to a stable coin. When the tax happens, you preserve the value by converting it to a stable coin. You just literally are preserving all the value, no matter how high the price is, no matter how low it is. You take the tax, you convert it to a stable coin, you preserve that value. The thing is if you give out that value immediately, then the whales are going to get the most of it. They're going to get their value and they're going to sell and they're going to leave with all the value. So how do we fix the whale problem and the reflections problem at the same time with the tax and tokenomics? Well, we tax the buys and sells so that we have a new wealth distribution mechanism. And then we don't give it out immediately. We give it out in a delayed. So it's delayed stablecoin rewards. And what it is that we're doing, and I don't know if you understand this might blow your mind. Delayed stablecoin rewards is taking the value, because everybody's seeking value in the LP. That's the only reason anybody's in a project. They want the value that's in the liquidity pool. That's the game we're all playing. As soon as the value goes down, so does the sentiment, so does the belief. As soon as people sell, the belief, the sentiment, the hope in the project is gone. The more the price goes up, the more everybody's belief and sentiment and the value grows. The value is tied to the sentiment. By using a tax to shift value into the future, you are putting sentiment, belief in the project. You're preserving it, right? It can't go down with the liquidity pool. You're preserving it by converting it to a stable coin, and then you're giving it out in the future. That preserves sentiment, belief in the project, and value, and puts it in the future. What does that do? It means that if whales sell out of the liquidity pool, they don't get these rewards. They don't get that value in the future, and they have to pay a tax into those rewards on the way out. So through a buy and sell tax, you can take value that would naturally go to the liquidity pool towards a pyramid-like structure that incentivizes the destruction of the project. That if you look at all of DeFi, you can see it's a reoccurring pattern of whales tanking projects over and over and over again. It's there by design. Even if you get rid of rug pulls, scams, pump and dumps, giving out tokens, people are naturally, even if you launch an honest project, whoever those first buyers are, they're going to get the dominance, and they're going, as soon as they reach a selling point, they're going to take profit, whether it be 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. They usually don't let it grow very much because they're at war with every other whale to take profit before them. And so this is why projects can't grow. You have to incentivize the growth of the project. So through using buys and sells, we're able to take value that would naturally go to the liquidity pool, preserve it so that it can't go down. If you change it to a stable coin, it literally can't go down, and then give it out in the future. Now you're preserving the life of the project, and you're rewarding those who deserve it most. Who's going to get this value? The stakers. Everybody who stakes is going to get that value. What does this mean? This means that if Safemoon had this structure set up that I'm talking about, delayed stablecoin rewards through a tax, then when this happened with Safemoon and then we saw that downward, basically about a third of the value that was taken would have been given to whoever had the most tokens here. If you were staking, all these whales who left, they forfeited all the rewards they would have gotten. Instead of getting massive amounts of reflections and selling those on a daily basis and having all that extra power, they wouldn't have got their rewards. They would have gotten a little bit. But if they really wanted their rewards, they would have had to have held to this point. And what that would have incentivized was for them to actually hold to that point. It would have actually incentivized whales to buy the dip. Whales and Safemoon were only selling off the news. All the smaller holders were buying, and you were exit liquidity. Go look at the chart. Everybody was exit liquidity for the whales. You know I'm telling the truth. So what we need is value in the future, and it needs to go to those who deserve it the most. Who deserves to win in a project? I don't think it's the people who convince a bunch of people to get in and then sell on them, who destroy the project, leave nothing behind. Why should they get 100% of the value? Through a tax, we can shift that value, and we give it to those who actually deserve it. Well, who deserves it the most? Whoever has the most tokens over a long period of time, they should be rewarded the most. Whether they bought them in the beginning and held them, or whether they bought a ton afterwards. Why should you be rewarded the most? Because you're the one who helped the project grow the most. Projects grow because people buy and people hold. Well, if you're buying the most amount of tokens, whether it be at the very beginning or whether it be later on, and you're holding them, you are helping the project grow more than anybody else. You should, in a taxless token, you're punished for doing that. The game is you have to sell at the top before everybody else does on a bunch of people that buy after you. That game puts the community at odds with each other. By shifting this value into the future, converting it to a stable coin, we can all be united. We're still divided in the liquidity pool, but it's not 100%. It'll only be like 60%, 65, 66%. And we'll be united. The community will actually be united in the future of the project. Both the whales, the little holders, and the new holders will be united in the value in the future, because this is going towards everybody. It can't go down. It's going towards everyone that's staking. And so we can actually unite the incentives of the community with a future that helps the project grow, and we're all able to actually be on the same page. I created all of this. I thought about all this. I spent hours covering Safemoon and Evergrow, looking at what went wrong, looking at how we could have fixed it, looking at the rest of crypto and seeing scams and rugs and pump and dumps, and just being like, this is terrible. Only bad actors are winning. How do we reward good actors? And so I created Control Token to solve that problem. I took those problems that I just told you about. If you want to check it out, it's controltoken.net. We're in pre-sale right now. I would say, I've said this before, if anybody hasn't seen this, I'd say don't ever do pre-sales. Almost never do a pre-sale, because what's going to happen if you do a pre-sale is it's going to dump right at launch, because a bunch of people are going from pre-sale to pre-sale. They're adding more liquidity than anybody else, and they're using bots to sell on you. And they don't care about the project. They don't care if it grows. They don't care if it does well. They're just going project to project and stealing your money. And they're incentivized to. Why shouldn't they do that if they can go do that? That's why pre-sales are bad. However, this pre-sale, the price is going to launch at whatever the value is you put in. You put in $100 at launch, that's going to be your value. And we have a sell tax, which means anybody tries to sell at the launch of Control Token, you're going to be selling at a loss. You would be instantly just saying, like, I want to have less money than what I put in, and I want to forfeit my rewards, and I want to forfeit the potential growth because I'm an idiot, right? What this does is this creates an actual floor of the launch of the project. That's the point of a pre-sale. You're supposed to be early, it's supposed to be the floor value, and it's supposed to go up from there. So through this structure, through starting at the value you put in, and through starting at with a sell tax, we are able to preserve this upward momentum for a project. You don't want to start a project with red candles. That's going to be very hard to get that sentiment, to get that growth going when you already have a bunch of red candles in your chart. It's possible, but it makes it less likely. You're already starting with bad sentiment. Start with upward movement. You're starting with good sentiment. And so that's one of the first things that we're doing right, is because everything that I'm telling you is I came to all these ideas myself because I think about what is best for all the holders. How do we distribute wealth more fairly, and how do we create a project that actually is able to explode? And that's why I created Control Token. I've had it in my back pocket for a long time. I could have put this out over a year ago if I had wanted to. Everybody was accusing me of fudding Safemoon to launch my own project. As usual, they were wrong about literally everything. Everything they said, it was always the opposite. They said that I was trying to hurt investors by telling them about Safemoon. No, you guys would have saved money if you would have listened to me. If you had sold and believed what I told you, you probably would have sold, and you would have saved yourself some money, saved yourself some time, saved yourself the shame of what some of these people did, especially when you add lying about me on top of it. And so what I've done is I've created a project that I believe is one of the greatest reward projects ever made, because it's not just a reward project. It's taking value that would go into the LP and shifting it into the future in a bigger and bigger manner, and it leads up into what's called the control event. Now here's the thing, is I just want people to hear about this, and so that you know and you can decide for yourself. You don't like the idea, don't do it. When I told people about Evergrow, if you didn't like the idea, don't do it. That's why I tell people, I'm just trying to give you the chance to decide for yourself. Now, I do believe, and I'm still a supporter of Evergrow. I'm good friends with Sam and Paul, and I think that they have a good shot at going on another big run because of where they're positioned at with their utilities and with the price and everything, and with the market. However, I do believe that this setup is better than Evergrow was in its beginning stages. Evergrow did blow up. It made a lot of people a lot of money. That's what my goal is to help people make money, not to scam people and steal their money, not to lie to people for clout or for whatever. I dealt with a massive amount of pushback, and I took that. Anybody who followed me through SafeMoon, I took that pushback like head on. Like I didn't stop covering SafeMoon. I faced the full wrath of the SafeMoon army, the SafeMoon maxis, who did not want to hear all the things that I was talking about, and they lied about me and all those things. And I was like, this is for your benefit. You're attacking me. I'm telling you the truth for your own benefit. Anyways, I wasn't just covering SafeMoon and talking about Evergrow to help people, because I'm like, I want to help people. It's all, I think I've created something that is actually one of the best things that you could potentially create when it comes to DeFi, because the problem is in the liquidity pool, it's a pyramid structure that puts everybody at war with each other. Your goal is to sell before your buddies do, on top of a bunch of other people who get in after you. You leave nothing positive behind. That the problem, everyone's trying to solve that with utility. I'm like, you're building utility on top of a pyramid structure. Everyone's trying to solve that with so many things. And I'm like, you have a pyramid structure that incentivizes the death of the project. You have to fix that. You got to fix the root. This is the root. It's the code. It's the liquidity pool. Fix that. And I'm like, no one's done this. I've had hundreds of projects come to me and tell me their ideas, while I've had Control Token in my back pocket the whole time. Every time I listen to it, and I go, hey, that's kind of cool, but the entire time I feel like I've got something way better. Every project that comes to me, I've got something way better. I don't tell anybody that, but I just feel that way, because I'm like, I'm actually dealing with the problem. I'm actually utilizing what actually causes a project to do well. That's another thing. I'll say this last thing. I'll end this because I don't want this to be too long, because I do want people to see it. Is and I think a lot of people don't realize this. Belief in an idea. So Safemoon did not deliver the Okay, so real quickly, the reflections didn't work. The reflections, Mitch Bromwell, thank you for the $1, man. You need to join the Discord. I'd be happy to bring you on as a moderator for Control Token if you wanted to be, since you've been so, awesome and helpful. Reflections didn't. Everybody believed Reflections was going to be passive income, right? Literally, like everybody who was in SafeMoon. The liquidity was locked. This is another reason why people bought. Now, real quickly, before I could keep going for a while, I'll just put it out there real fast. Utilities and the team. These are the ideas that people believe. Now, let me say this. It's super important that I think people understand this. It does not matter whether or not these ideas are true for people to believe them. And what I'm saying is that the idea, as long as people believe it, then they will buy into it. and that'll cause the price to go insane. Safemoon went crazy because people believed ideas that ended up not being true. And even if those ideas aren't true, it was the belief that caused the project to grow up, to blow up, not the actual ideas themselves. Everyone in DeFi right now is trying to sell you on an idea to get you to believe, to get you to buy. That's all that's happening. It's very simple, right? You already knew this, but maybe you haven't heard it worded this way. But this is the reality of it. Right now, it's what is the most convincing, strongest idea to get you to buy. And people are hoping that this idea is going to cause the charts, once it's been realized, to go up. And right now, I'd say one of the biggest ideas that people are being told is utilities, profit from utilities going back to the charts. And I'd say that probably 90+% of people that are saying utilities, profit from utilities, are just saying it because it's a more convincing idea. It's not because it's actually true. And so if you're on the outside perspective, if you're watching a project that's convincing people of an idea, you have to recognize it is not the utilities that's going to produce the movement on the chart. It's people's belief in the utilities that's going to produce the movement on the chart. And those are happening at two different times. The belief is going to happen early on, while the utilities aren't going to happen for a while. And usually, I'm not saying it won't, because I still believe in Evergrow, I still believe in Squidgrow, I still believe in Vitreous. I'm just saying I think 90% of projects that are offering or promising utilities, profit from utilities, it's just to get people to believe an idea that seems more convincing and more realistic. But where the price action's actually going to happen is, like I said, buy the whatever, sell the news. That's exactly the same thing. It's the belief. So it's super important to understand that it's the belief is the important part. What I'm doing with Control Token is I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say, oh, well, I can just tell you any idea to make you believe, and as long as everybody believes, the price will go up. No, I believe in the truth, and I believe you should do things in a truthful way. And so what I'm saying is, what causes the price to go up? It's belief that it'll go up, and it's the price going up. The more the price goes up, the more the belief in it goes up. The more people believe in it, the more the price goes up. Those things are tied to each other. They have to believe in the idea. Whatever belief it is, it's an idea, whether it be a meme token, a utility token, anything. I want to shift people's hope and belief from a promise, from an idea, to a reality, to something that's real. Okay, what causes every project to grow up, to blow up? It's the price going up in the beginning of the project. That's where I want you to believe in it, where it actually is, not in a future idea that might result in something. When a project is growing in the beginning and people feel like they're early, and and the price is going up, that's where you get explosive growth. This is where Safemoon explodes and gets hundreds of thousands of users. This is where Evergrow explodes in its beginning stages, when the price skyrockets. So I want to shift people's belief from a promise of utilities, and shift people's belief from the team, because I don't want you to believe in all your hope to be in me. I want it to be in an idea that is true, not an idea that isn't true. And so I'm saying, okay, what is that idea? The price being early. We have to preserve that. How do we preserve that? We have to actually incentivize the growth of the project. And how do we do that? We have to shift value, because that's what people are seeking, the value in the liquidity pool, into the future. We do that through attacks, through tokenomics. We preserve that value by converting it to a stablecoin. Even if the price goes down, that future value is preserved. That future sentiment is preserved. That future belief is preserved, because that future price has been preserved through a stablecoin. We are literally there's no maybe, hopefully this one day will. No, it's this is actually happening. As buys and sells come through, everybody who pays the tax and Control Token is paying for the future of the project, to keep it alive and to incentivize its growth. Every single person who buys or sells Control Token is paying to keep the future alive. That tax is being preserved through a stable coin, meaning it can't go down. It's not like the liquidity pool. The value and belief in the liquidity pool, that can go down, right? If the price drops a bunch, people lose faith, they lose belief, and the liquidity pool loses value. And the price can go up a lot. People gain belief and they gain value, right? So by taking that value and converting it to something that can't go down, it actually can only go up because it's an appreciating stablecoin. But for the sake of keeping this simple, something that can't go down, we are literally preserving the value, the belief, and the price to the degree that we're doing the tax. The buy and sell tax is a certain degree. It's 50% buy, 20% sell. To that degree, and actually more, we're preserving the life and the future and the growth of the project. So my goal is to be like, hey, this is why every project explodes. Let's not lie. Let's not be deceitful here, and let's shift your faith, your hope, your belief into where it should be. And so I want people to not believe in something that's not true, but something that's true. You guys can go to controltoken.net if you want to learn more. Mitch Bromo, thanks for the $5. He says, I remember talking to a young man about bringing his own crypto control token a couple of years ago and helping change the world. God bless you. Thanks, Mitch. I honestly, here's the thing is, I don't want to keep this going too much longer because I do want people to watch this. Control token has two goals. These are my only two goals. Now, there's no rug, there's no scam, there's no rug pull. I'm not giving anybody any tokens. I don't get any tokens because the entire purpose of control token is to create a project that blows up. That's the number one purpose. Is I want to create something that blows up. I want people to be talking about it. I want to make everybody's seeking a project that blows up. I want to make that, and I feel like I'm the only one who's actually addressing the problem that's stopping everybody else from blowing up. It's the pyramid-like structure of the liquidity pool. It's not that hard, and I want to make something that distributes wealth more fairly. And this literally does both. If you look at how a liquidity pool works, it's only the early people who get almost all the value, right? You put in 1,400, a couple grand, 10 grand, and then you get millions. You sell millions. Nobody gets any of that. You get all of that. How do we distribute that more fairly? A sell tax and a buy tax, so that when you paid in, you paid into the future. Sell tax, when you go to sell, instead of selling for $1 million, you get 800K, and 200K goes back to the project to keep it alive. That way, you still get the fun of making huge gains, but not at the cost of destroying the growth of the project and the future of the project, right? So by incentivizing the growth of the project and the future of the project, we create a structure that actually allows us all to unite in our inclination. So I'll just say this real fast. I'm going to end this because I don't want to make this go too long. I don't want people to get scared at how long this is. If your job, whatever job you've done in your past, if the company made more, if they actually shared that value with you, they would be able to align the incentives of every worker with the company doing better. But they don't do that. The worker feels like no matter what they do, they might get 10 cents, they might get a quarter, maybe they'll get to be a lead, but ultimately it doesn't actually affect their work. And so the incentives are not aligned with the company. And I believe that everyone's incentives in crypto, because of the liquidity pool, are at odds with each other. Your goal in crypto in any project is to get a bunch of people, or to hope that a bunch of people buy after you so that you can sell on them. It's also to sell before all the people who have the same amount of bag as you, or a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. You have to sell before they do, because if they do, then you don't get the chance to take your profits. So you're not incentivized to help each other in a regular project when it comes to the liquidity pool, because of how it distributes wealth in a pyramid-like structure. With this structure, we're literally taking, I don't even know, maybe a third of the value, and we're giving it to those who hold. Like, you helped keep the project alive, you should be rewarded for it. If Safemoon had done this, buying the dip actually would have paid off for you. The whales who held actually would have benefited from it by a third of about all the value that was taken from it. If John hadn't taken the $200 million out of the liquidity pool, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that would have went to that. Evergrow did $40 million in rewards. Instead of giving all those rewards to all the holders immediately, you only give it to those that are staking, which already makes it a lot bigger because not everybody's going to be staking. And then you delay it, so that you actually, to the extent that you delay it, you preserve the life of the project, because everybody sees that value in the future and the value in the liquidity pool. They have to decide between the two. They could take this value out of the liquidity pool right now and sell, but these rewards can't go down in the future. They can only go up. So there's so much I can say about control token. The more I think about it, the better it gets. I think it's an amazing project. I also think that it doesn't really matter how much attention we get, whether we start real small or whether we start with a lot of momentum. Ideally, you do want to start with a lot of momentum. But here's the thing: is control token is attracting the right holders. Long term, if you come to control token, you're probably thinking long term. You're probably a healthy holder who wants to be in something that grows. This weeds out, I'm talking rug pulls, scams, pump and dumps, people that are using bots to destroy pre-sales, whales that are destroying projects. I mean, everything is designed for bad actors, and I want to weed out. I don't want the bad actors. Like, hey, go, keep doing what you're doing, right? Keep scamming people. See how that works out for you. Keep taking advantage of people. See how that works out for you. I don't think it's going to work out in the end. I want to create something that has the good actors of the space, people who are just buying and hoping for the best, and they're doing their best to like and share and comment and tell people about it. I'm creating something that actually feels safer, and I honestly feel that you can tell. If you understand these ideas, you realize, oh, this is safe, because even if a bad actor comes in, they have to buy, they have to pay the tax. If they go to sell, they have to pay the tax. If they leave the project, they forfeit all the rewards they would have gotten. If you're a whale, those rewards are big, right? The rewards are always biggest for the whales, and the whales are always the problem. As soon as they leave, they're paying a massive tax back into the project. They're forfeiting their rewards, and they're leaving value in the future of the project. No other project does a sell actually have a positive effect on the project. Sells only have negative effects on the project. If you're a whale in control token and another whale the same size or bigger as you sells, you know that he just forfeited his rewards, not only for that month, but for the 6 months and for the 12 months. He just forfeited what could potentially be a lot. And those rewards can only keep going up. As the volume comes in, those rewards only get bigger and bigger. They can't go down. And the value of those rewards is, because it's not a stable coin, it's an appreciating stable coin, the value can only go up as well. So the rewards can only go up, and the value of those rewards can only go up. XUSD is the stable coin that you'd get rewarded in with control token. It's an appreciating stablecoin, but it's being upgraded right now to a utility appreciating stablecoin, meaning that it's going to be tied to a lot of different things, which those are going to be announced soon. I'll be able to go over those with you guys, that are causing the stablecoin to go up. So imagine getting reflections, right? I'll do this real fast. I know there's so much I could say about this. You get your reflections and the value, you get these tokens, but then a big sell-off happens. Now you just lost 95% of the value of your token. Okay, now imagine getting stablecoin. Let's just say you get $1,000 worth of stablecoin. As long as this doesn't depeg, which does happen in DeFi, but it is quite uncommon actually. Even if the value of the token goes down, the LP goes down, your rewards have been preserved. You can use those to buy the dip. You can use those to buy a different coin. You can cash them out and buy some food. But control token takes it to the next level. And if control token blows up and you're a whale, this is where this can really affect you. If you ever held a large amount of a token that that goes up and down daily and on price, like Ethereum or BNB, I had $100,000 worth of BNB at one point, and I was getting ready to cash it out. I fell asleep. I woke up the next day. It went up $5,000, because if you have a large amount, a little bit of movement changes the value you hold a lot. So if you're a whale in a project that's rewarding an appreciating stablecoin, and I don't think this has ever been done before on a big level. Appreciating stablecoin rewards have never been done on a big level. I hope that my project is the first one to say, hey, appreciating stablecoins has been done before as far as rewards, but I want to be the first one that does it. I also want to be the first reward token that incentivizes volume over the length of the period of a year. Instead of a couple months and then the price is down and the volume is a lot slower, I think the structure I've created actually incentivizes volume to grow and get bigger and bigger into a year. And I think because of that, if it does work how I think it will, it'll blow Safemoon out of the water as far as rewards. But that's aiming pretty high, right? Because I'm not paying a bunch of influencers to shill something and all that jazz. But I do think that I have something that incentivizes growth and healthy holders, and the more you grow, the more the belief you get, and the faster you grow. As long as I have something that prevents those sell-offs, or at least preserves the sentiment when sell-offs do happen and allow for recovery, then I do think it is more likely to explode with a project and to preserve its life. But appreciating stablecoin, right now XUSD started at $1. It's gone up to $1.40. It's like around $1.40. So if you had, $1,000 in there, you'd have $1,400 now, just for having that stablecoin. Nobody else can offer that kind of gain when it comes to just holding something. It's way better than anybody else who's offering certain APYs and whatnot. However, Mark's revamping it he says it's going to make it go a lot faster to a utility appreciating stablecoin. And I know that I believe there's multiple utilities that he has that are feeding into this. So, if you're a whale in something and you're getting these massive rewards in appreciating stablecoin, not only are your rewards preserved because they're in a stablecoin, but they're also only going to go up. Now, if you have $100,000 and it goes up to, $1.40, now you have 140K just for holding that. This grew from $1 to $1.40 in a bear market. We're about to enter into a bull market with an appreciating utility stablecoin that's supposed to grow a lot faster. So it's potential, and I can't even imagine a stablecoin that's at like $3 or something crazy like that. They'd be like, why is this stablecoin at $3? Oh, it's because it's appreciating. It started at $1 and now it's at $3. It just only goes up. People be like, what? How is that possible? So that is awesome in itself. We do have other things going on. But like I said, guys, I want to keep this short and sweet. I'll read the comments real quick. ControlToken.net. I'll go over really quickly what we have lined up for the future, which is a space with the Dogecoin millionaire going over the project. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't have a big impact on it or not. I don't know. Either way, he's a cool guy, and I was talking to him about Control Token at NFT NYC in New York because we were there for Squidgrow. It just came up. I didn't force it on. I didn't say, hey, this is my project. We just started talking about projects, why they fail, why they lose, and I started talking about shifting value, and we got into that conversation. And at a certain point, Dogecoin Millionaire was just like, okay, wait, hold on a second. Tell me about your project. He's like, just tell me about your project. Like at some point, it caught his attention to the point where he like wanted me to actually explain it to him. I explained Control Token to him, and towards the end, he had questions and stuff because you don't get it all right away. It's hard to kind of get everything that I'm saying, not because it's complex, but just because I think it's kind of new. But I think people resonate with it because they realize I'm speaking the truth and that I'm not making this. None of this is made up. This is all just factual and based. I'm basing it off the reality of what's going on. He said, let's do a space. I didn't say anything about promoting it or anything or buying it. I didn't say anything, and he said, let's do a space. Now, I don't know why he said that. Maybe it's because we're friends, or what. I don't know. But maybe it's because he wants other people to be there so that they can talk about it too and maybe actually ask better questions. I don't know what was going on in his mind, but either way, he said, let's do a space on it whenever I explain Control Token to him. So we should be doing that next week. It more so just depends. He's a really busy guy on his schedule, but he said we could do that next week. He's doing something this week, and so it should be next week that we'll be able to do that. The other things that we have lined up for Control Token is a partnership with Evergrow. We get to do an AMA with the Evergrow Atlas wallet account. And basically, we're just going to be giving them a percentage of the supply of Control Token, and they're going to be giving that out to staking rewards to the Evergrow holders. And so a lot of people, the idea is a lot of people get like, I don't know, 5, 10, 30, $50, not very much worth of Control Token. Ideally, the 5 to 10 is what I want to aim for. We have to see the value and how many stakers they're going to be before we come to all these agreements. But ideally, just enough to be like, oh, cool, there's like 20, $30 of Control Token to like 1,000 people or more. And then they're like, wait, what's Control Token? Let me go check on Control Token. Oh wow! And that'd be like thousands of people that are actually invested. And if you're in Evergrow, you've probably heard of me. So you might be like, "Wait, he has a project, and I'm getting rewarded in it. What is this project?" And I think that once people hear this idea, maybe you'll be like, I don't know about that. I don't believe in it. I think that's dumb, whatever." But a lot of people, I think, are going to be like, "Oh, actually, this sounds like crazy. Like I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen a project that deals with the problem that I'm seeing in every single crypto that actually incentivizes the future in a real way." So I think that that's going to be potentially an amazing potential of growth that we'll need to help get this momentum going. Because here's my thing: is like my goal is to help people. This is why I'm confident coming to you with this. This is why I was confident coming to Safemoon holders with Evergrow, is because I wanted to help them, and I did. I don't know if any project actually helped people in Safemoon make money, and I'm not trying to brag, but I was the bridge between Safemoon and Evergrow. I created videos. They got 40,000 plus views. A bunch of people, because they listened to me in Safemoon, followed me into Evergrow. We actually made profit in Evergrow. Evergrow was the best thing to happen to Safemoon. It actually made people make money, and a lot of people who were new to crypto, like myself, we made money in Evergrow that we did not make with Safemoon. Obviously, there had to be losers and all that jazz, but point is, I helped a lot of people make money with Evergrow. If you can't see that my goal is to help you make money, I can't make it any more clear that I'm not trying to profit off of your loss. So when it comes to Safemoon, my goal is to tell you about Control Token, not because of any other thing. I wouldn't be telling you about it if I didn't think that I have something amazing up my sleeve that actually unites the community. The Safemoon wasn't a problem until the idea of Safemoon betrayed the holders. The liquidity wasn't locked. The reflections didn't work. The team was lying. The team was pulling liquidity. The utilities weren't good. If those things were true, we would have had a massive community that we could have been maxis on it if the idea was true. But because the idea wasn't true, being a maxi on a lie became delusional, and it became problematic, and it became hypocritical. It became all these things where we had to choose between, do I want to support something that is a lie or is based on fraud? And I couldn't do that once I found out that John stole the LP. I said, I can't, unless he addresses this, I can never talk positively about Safemoon again. So Safemoon betrayed its holders because the idea wasn't true. I want to found people on a truthful idea where we can actually be working together towards the future growth of the project. You can be a maxi on Control Token, and it'll help. You can get other people. I think you can feel safe about Control Token, getting your friends and family into it, because you can see that it's actually community based. It's actually about what's good for the whole. It's actually shifting value from the people who always win at the top to those who hold and actually kept the project alive. I can't imagine hearing that and thinking, I don't like that project, or this isn't a good idea. I think you'd either have to just not understand it or be jealous or something that you didn't think of at first. It's an amazing idea to shift value from those who usually destroy the project to those who help keep it alive. I can't make it any more simple, any more clear. And I think that I don't know what's going to happen with this project. Maybe it doesn't do well. I can't tell what's going to happen with the future. I said the same thing about Evergrow. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I just think the rewards are insane. Hey, those rewards actually were insane, and Evergrow blew up. I feel the same way about Control Token, but I'm more bullish on Control Token because I think it's the best tokenomics project ever created that I've ever seen. And I think it's not just a great rewards token, but that it's dealing with the problem that all of DeFi is struggling with, which they don't realize it. It's the pyramid-like structure of the liquidity pool. It's the wealth distribution mechanism of the liquidity pool that incentivizes the death of the project. It puts everybody at odds with each other. By shifting that value into the future and preserving it and giving it to those who hold, who help keep the project alive, by about a third, we are incentivizing the growth of the project. We are incentivizing the life of the project. That value can't go down because it's being preserved. No matter what happens to the liquidity pool, that future value is always there. So I get excited when I talk about Control Token. The goal of the Control Token is if we blow up and hit some insane market cap. I'm not saying we will. I hope we do. I believe we can. I think it's going to come down to the community and us working together. But I think that that's more likely in a project like this. That as this volume happens, the rewards are happening on a monthly basis. And then you have your 6-month rewards. Remember, these rewards can't go down. They just get distributed. Once they're distributed, then you get your rewards. The 6-month and the 12-month. So if we have like an explosion of growth, and let's just say the price goes down, we have this value that can't go down no matter what happens to the price. It can only go up. Whether buys are happening or whether sells are happening, it doesn't matter. It's going to feed these rewards. And so what we do is, and the 6-month is always going to be about half of what the 12-month is. The 12-month will, no matter what, will always be 2 to 3 times bigger than the 6-month. And the 6-month will always be 2 times bigger than the previous 6 months. So you have your 1-month rewards, which is 2% of the tax. You have your 6-month rewards, which is 4%. And then you have your 12-month rewards, which is 7 to 12%. The reason it's 7 to 12 is 7% for buys, 12% of sells is fueling those. So if you see good volume or even explosive growth, it secures a future value for the future of the project. This is insane. I'm sorry, I got to tell you guys this for anyone who's still paying attention. As that value happens, let's just say we preserve that 6-month and that 12-month. Let's just say, I don't even know, there's $1 million here, $1 million in rewards for the 12-month. And I think it could get way more than that. If it does well, it would be hundreds of millions if it did well. And then let's just say for the 6-month, let's just say it's, what do we say? It was about a little less than half. So let's just say it's 300K. This is really important to understand if you're in control token, if you're into this project. This puts a natural demand. Remember, these rewards are stablecoin. They can't go down. No matter what happens with the liquidity pool, these rewards cannot go down. This puts a natural demand on the liquidity pool. What that does is it creates a floor. And that floor, what that means is, if the price of the liquidity pool goes down and I could just put in let's just say I could put in 20 grand worth of tokens, and then I could get half the amount of the tokens that are being staked and get half those rewards right here. 20 grand and I get 150 grand in stablecoin. Well, no one's going to let me do that because everyone's going to ensure that they have a large amount of the token in order to get those rewards. But if you're buying the token to get those rewards, you're increasing the rewards, right? So it's a fight to get these rewards, but in fighting to get the rewards, you're increasing those rewards. But what this means is there is a natural demand from these rewards that creates a demand on the liquidity pool. It's not just natural demand. It is just like, hey, the value of the liquidity pool the tokens in the liquidity pool could never be less than the amount that needs to be staked for those rewards. So if somebody could come up and buy those rewards, they're going to do it, especially the holders who were in the project. And here's where this gets even crazier. It doesn't just create the natural demand, but it also creates the potential. No project has the potential that this one has, because every project has the potential of the price to go up, right? And that's why people buy. Hopefully the price goes up. This one not only has the potential of the price to go up, but it has the reality of the future rewards. It's not even a potential. It's the reality of, it's guaranteed, it can't go down, the future rewards. And the rewards can only go up. And so it's the potential. Unless volume just stays at $0, the rewards will stay right where they're at. But they can't go down until they're given out. They can only go up. So we have the potential price. We have the reality of the future rewards. Not potential future rewards, but real future rewards. And we have the potential for those rewards to go up. So when we launch soon, because we're going to be launching hopefully within a month or two, hopefully sooner, you'll have 12 months before the control event, the biggest rewards. That's the control event. It's a moon vault. It's a moon with a vault on it. It builds up stablecoin rewards all year long. There's a countdown until the vault opens. That's the control event. That's the purpose of the project. We have something big and exciting to look forward to. First, the 6-month reward, and then the 12-month reward. And 12-month is really big. I can show you. But Mitch, thanks for the $1.49. Algosaurus, what's up, man? I made 60K plus off Evergrow and then reinvested some of that into the other projects and kept bankrolling. Awesome, man. Glad you did well, bro. Personally, I'm not sure if it will tell family and friends right away until the first payout of rewards. I have 50 plus family and friends in Safemoon, and it left bets. Yeah, no, do whatever you think is best. I'm telling my friends and family because I am confident in it. But if you're not that confident in it, then don't do it, right? And the weight of it's like on my shoulders. If this fails, they'll be like, "Hey, why'd you get me into that crappy project?" I'm more like, if this blows up, you'll be like, "Why didn't you tell me?" So I'm letting people know, "Hey, I think that." I tell my family, if you can throw 500 to 1,000 in this, I would suggest it, because I'm not giving away tokens. You do have to buy yourself. Now I'll help them buy, but it's just more so for their sake that I'm telling them about it. And I'll probably be putting in 1,000 myself. I just haven't done it yet because I'm still working every day on this. But the potential rewards. So if we launch and you have, and here's another thing about this is just because the rewards might not, I don't know what's going to happen. We do have that partnership with Evergrow that's probably going to bring a lot of attention to Control Token, potentially help that growth get kickstarted. But if we're slow volume for the first month, it doesn't matter, and it's super important that people understand this. As long as the price doesn't tank immediately, which it'd be impossible for it to, so I actually don't even see this as a possibility. But we just have slow upward growth. Now, ideally, yes, you want it to skyrocket immediately and just be like, okay, this is amazing. Now I'll tell everybody about it. I would say this, though. Here's the thing is, the riskiest time is the most rewarding time. If you're waiting for something to establish itself, then by the time that everybody believes in it, there's going to be less room for reward in it, right? So the riskiest time is the most rewarding. So if you are waiting to get into something to see, oh, is this catch on? Which I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. I'm just saying by that time that you feel, okay, this is safe and it's established itself, the price probably would have gone up a ton in order for you to feel that way. So just keep that in mind, that yes, it might be a safer play after it establishes itself, but anything that's safer has less room for growth. So the goal is to find something that you believe in before people are FOMOing into it, before it blows up. If you're trying to get in early on something, if you're trying to get in early on something that's established, you're never going to be earlier than all the people who already got in. But it's totally your call, your play, how you want to do that. I'm just putting these ideas out there because people might be like, oh, I wish I would have gotten in, but it might not do well, and people might be like, oh, I'm glad I skipped that one. The final thing I would say on that is that if I'm not bullish on something, I just put in less money if I think it's going to make money, do something. If I'm really bullish on something, then I can put in more. But if there's something where I'm like, oh, I'm not sure, whatever, then just don't do. If you like it, but it feels risky or it doesn't feel safe, then you can just do less money. Or you can just wait and see if it establishes itself. It's whatever you want. But whether we have slow growth or immediate growth, as long as that growth is upward, it doesn't really matter, because I think at a certain point of upward growth, remember, this is the growth is the price going up. It's the sentiment, it's the belief, right? They're literally tied to each other. It doesn't matter whether it's initially explosive, which is what we're aiming for, but even if it doesn't, even if those rewards aren't great for those first couple months because we haven't blown up in volume, it's important for the community to realize that as long as it's upward, at a certain point, it's going to get attention, and people are going to be like, hey, this project's actually grown quite a lot. It's been steady and slow, but it's only been upward. As long as we have that upward movement, whether it takes 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, it doesn't matter. Eventually, that momentum will probably, I probably can't say this, but it's based on a hypothetical. If the price goes up for so long, it kind of grows in how much it goes up, right? The more price you get, the more belief you get. The more belief you get, the more price you get. That's why we see accelerated growth of projects like with Evergrow, like with Safemoon. In the beginning, when it blew up, it really blew up. And so it might take us a little longer to get that momentum because I'm not a massive influencer and I don't have these huge connections or whatever, even though we're doing a space with the Dogecoin Millionaire and we have a partnership with Evergrow, which is actually pretty huge in my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just do want everybody to understand that if we don't take off immediately, it's okay. The important part is that we have steady growth upward. As long as we have that, then eventually I think it'll have to blow up, right? That momentum will have to turn into FOMO. That'll have to turn. If everybody looks and they go, wow, this chart's really good, they're going to feel safer getting in. And that'll get that growth that we're looking for. Whenever that growth finally does happen, then it fuels those rewards. And that incentivizes the growth. So I don't want to go on too much longer. I think that I've probably hit most of the ideas. I'll finish the comments, and it's controltoken.net. I think it's a great idea, but I don't know how it'll do. If this takes off, I'll probably rectify some of my family and friends' losses after 12 months rewards. That's just me personally. Oh, nice, Mitch. Yeah, I'm trying to help my family too. Thank you, Tommy Yossi. I appreciate that. Great work on this project, CC. That's where I'm like, if I can just reach out to the people who listen to me on Safemoon and Evergrow and just be like, guys, I'm not trying to say do this or don't do this. Just hear it. Just like at least hear me out and then decide for yourself. That's all I want you to do. Because I know that if you were bullish on Safemoon and Evergrow, that you're going to see that, oh, this is, in my opinion, 1,000 times better as far as the tokenomics goes. Maybe not the roadmap and utility and all that stuff, but as far as the tokenomics goes, it's 1,000 times better, in my opinion. How does the reward pools get full? Does the contract buy the stable coins regularly and fills the pot as it goes? Does it save beans and buy the rewards on the 1, 6, and 12 months? No, it'll just be over a certain amount of time, probably on a slower amount, be converting the tax to those rewards. So they'll be filling as volume happens. As buys and sells happen, it'll be happening. With no influencers being paid, no large media campaigns, what are you going to do to increase the word of mouth publicly of the project? Hey, Augustosaurus. Well, here's what I say. Everybody's talking about their project, and nobody wants to hear about other people's projects most of the time. I went to NFT NYC, and everybody's talking about their project, and like you might be kind of interested, but for the most part, everybody's just trying to tell you about their project. The thing that speaks is the price. And through our design, we're bringing in holders who think long term. If you're thinking long term, then you're going to buy and hold. If you buy and hold, you're going to allow for the price to go up. As the price goes up, this is going to speak louder than any kind of marketing ever will. I promise you that. Here's the thing about marketing actually is it's kind of a double-edged sword, because if you do massive marketing, does that scream you're early in this project, right? If everybody's talking about it, does that make you feel like you're early in it? So it's like you have to get the idea out there, but also if you do it in such a way that makes people feel like they're late to it, they're not going to be interested. So with that being said, our marketing, we're going to have, out of the pre-sale, it's 60% goes to the liquidity, 25% goes to treasury. That'll be used for paying for the dev work and paying for marketing. So we will have money for marketing actually. And then 15% of that's going towards rewards. But the pre-sale is still going to start at the price that you put in. So if you put in $100, you're going to have $100 at launch. And then if somebody tries to sell, they'd be an idiot. Like it'd be like, oh, I want $80. And it's like, okay, take your $80, I guess. But so nobody should sell at once, and we should be able to get that upward momentum, which is super important about preserving that sentiment and that upward momentum in the beginning. Outside of that, so you got 15% buy and 20% sell, right? 2% of that, of both of those, goes towards the treasury to pay for dev work, pay for marketing, pay me. So to the extent that we grow, 2% of that will be able to go towards marketing. So if we do start to do well, we will have more money for marketing. But I as you can see, my approach to things is much different than most projects. I think a lot of projects are approaching things in a way that just doesn't help the project. They're approaching things in a way that's unrealistic. I would actually look at marketing personally. The best marketing is the community, right? If we have a massive community, everybody wants to be involved with that project. This is why the Safemoon swap partners were able to charge hundreds of thousands of dollars, because of the community. And so I'm all about using what works, not what doesn't work. And so if we're getting paid, if we're bringing in money from marketing, nothing wrong with partnerships and reaching out and getting your project in front of other eyes. You definitely want to do that. But I would probably look at how do we use the marketing funds to incentivize our own community to be involved in a way that helps grow the project. I'd probably change that, you know what I mean? So, because the power's in the community. Good question. www.controltoken.net. Thanks for that, Mitch Bromo. Like EGC, can anyone make shirts, flags, hats, and merch for Control Token without being sued? Just check. Yeah. If you guys want to make it, I'll definitely make some eventually. I need to make some soon, actually, because I really like Control Token. I like the colors for Control Token. I really like the green with Safemoon. I know it's stupid. I wasn't a huge fan of the purple with Evergrow because I'm just not a big purple guy, but the blue, the light blue, looks really cool, so I really like that. The name Control, the ticker is going to be CTRL, just like on your keyboard, Control. So a lot of cool things going on. But outside of that, yeah, we have the 2%, so it's technically 13% of buys and 18% of sells. That is value that's being taken from the LP, converted into a stable coin, and then put out into the future to preserve the life of the project. All it really is everybody's paying for the project to survive. That tax is you paying when you buy, you're paying for the project to survive. And everybody's paying that. We're all paying for the project to survive. We're already thinking long term, and you already have to hold, and you have those rewards. It's a lot of, if you create a lot of holding, you allow for the project and the price to go up, and that's the number one reason why a project explodes. People are trying to beat around the bush and try to say it's other things. It's meme coins, it's Pepe, it's this, but most of that's not going to work. You're not going to be early enough, and most of it's probably due to manipulation from people pumping charts or getting a bunch of influencers together. Most of what's going on in DeFi is bad actors, just to be 100% honest with you guys. And so my approach is like, let's be real and let's do this in a way that helps people, but let's also try to blow up off of an idea that's true, not one that's false. And so I hope it does well for everybody involved. If it doesn't do well, I'll take the blame for it, but I can't say it's because I was a bad actor. It would just be because I don't know. I think it will do well, but it might not. I can't guarantee it. Yeah, there is a Discord server, Tommy. You can join the Discord if you just want to comment on this live stream. I'll send you the link. You can join the Discord. I try to give updates every day. I've been posting videos every day on Twitter. I don't always post those to YouTube. I go try to record a little video of me talking about something. One of the probably the most important part of Control Token, one of the most important parts, is that we are, I've already said this, attracting the right investors, holders. If you're attracting people who think long term, who want to hold, who actually care about a project's growth, not people who are trying to pump and dump, rug pull, scam, get in, get out before other people, paper hands, barely hold before they sell. Those people are destroying projects and the growth of projects. We're attracting people. Even if the bad actors come in, they got to pay that buy tax. And if they sell, they're forfeiting the rewards and they're paying a sell tax, So, and the buy and the sell, it's not a tax. It's not really a tax. Because, when you think of a tax, you think of like, I lose that money. You know what I mean? This is just shifting it. It converts it to a stable coin, and then it gives it out in the future to preserve the life and growth of the project. And what that means is that if you buy this and you hold to the control event, which is the biggest distribution of the rewards, then everyone who's paying that tax is paying you because you held the longest with the most amount of tokens. Whoever has the most amount of tokens held the longest is going to get rewarded the most. But because this is only going to stakers, this actually increases the rewards for the smaller holders too, which is another problem that I wanted to address, which is, what about the people who are getting late? They have no reason to get in. With Control Token, there actually is incentive to get in late. If the price goes down a lot, you can get in and get rewards. That's awesome. You can also have the potential price action. The only reason that it might not be great to get in Control Token is if the price is so high and the rewards are so high, like that getting in, it just isn't possible. And at that point, that's an amazing problem to have. Oh, our price is too high, nobody wants to get in. But actually, that's usually not true. If the price is going up, then people do want to get in. That's the time that people feel safe. They feel like you establish yourself. As long as the price keeps going up, people feel safer getting in. They just saw it go up for a week. Why wouldn't they expect it to go up for another week? Now they feel safer getting in. So this kind of deals with everything. It kind of is like it counters all the negative aspects of a liquidity pool through those rewards being in the future. All the negative sentiment that comes from sells and the price going down and all that, it actually counters it with a positive sentiment for each one that's realistic. It's not bullcrap. Like, it's real. So yeah, guys, I'm probably gonna end that here. I am gonna work on a video because, like, I have probably hundreds of thousands of people who know who I am because I covered Safemoon. Probably have 20, 30, 40,000, maybe more people who know who I am because of Evergrow. I'm trying to reach out to them. You guys are my #1 people to reach out to. After that, it's your average holder, and it's the people who aren't in crypto yet. It's the people who are just like, I just want to buy and hold something and hope it does well. And I don't want to be rugged. I don't want to be scammed. I don't want to be pumped and dumped. I don't want any bots to use me. And I don't want to be in a project where it's only going to be pumped enough for the early buyers to benefit and then the project's dead. Well, welcome to Control Token. We deal with all of those problems. And so after I reach out to the Safemoon and the Evergrow holders as much as I can to be like, guys, this is what I'm doing. Just make sure you understand it before you reject it. Just take a look at it because this might be amazing. A lot of people regretted not listening to me on Evergrow. I can't guarantee that you're going to regret not listening to a Control Token, but that possibility is definitely there. After I reach to those people, it's like, hey, my goal, and I think that probably, I don't even know, 70, 80% of DeFi is just good. I would say it's actually good actors. It's just people going from project to project, trying to buy it, hoping for the best. They're not scamming people. They're not rugging. They're not pumping and dumping. They actually want the project to grow. And so I'm saying, hey, guys, this project's for you. But right now, Control Token is being drowned out by the other 1 million plus tokens that are saying, look at our project, look at our project, look at our project. So what Control Token needs is we need our voice to get louder. And the only way that's going to happen is if we launch and the price starts going up. As the price goes up, as we attract good holders who think long-term, who pay that tax, as long as that keeps going up, guess what's going to happen? Our voice is going to get louder, and it's going to start to stand above all the rugs, all the pump and dumps, all the scams, and they're going to be like, why are they different? Why do they stand out? And my goal is to say, hey guys, I've created this for you, the good actors of the space. This project is for you. You want to be in something, hold long-term, get rewarded for holding? This actually is for you. I've created that this is almost an attack on all the bad actors of DeFi and a place for all the good actors to come. Now, I'll finish it on this. I can't make everybody win. Like, the only way I could do that, to have 100% winners, would be if I was Elon Musk and I just created a project and I just dumped $1 billion into it and let everybody sell, right? But no one's going to do that. You can't have 100% winners. However, I would say that probably every project in DeFi probably has 90 to 95% losers, with only like 5% winners. And because we are taking value that would go into the liquidity pool that only benefits the sellers and shifting it into the future and giving it out in rewards to the stakers, on a decent scale, we are going to change this. My hope is from 95% to 70 to 65% losers, with 30 to 35% winners, because that's the second goal of Control Token, to balance wealth distribution. How do you do that? Don't give it to the people who destroy the project. You destroy the project, sell for 100 grand, you don't leave anything positive to the project. Well, guess what? You sell in Control Token, you forfeited all your rewards to everybody who's staying. Potentially those rewards could be a lot. With Evergrow and Safemoon, those rewards are massive for the whales. If they sold in that one with this structure, they would have been saying goodbye to a ton of value, a ton of rewards. With this one, not only are you forfeiting all the rewards that you would get, but the rewards that you would potentially get as well if they kept going up, and you're paying a tax into those rewards on your way out. So what that does is we shift value from rewarding the sellers of the project to rewarding the holders. That is, like, in my mind, this is a genius project that actually helps people, that distributes wealth more fairly, that actually incentivizes the growth of the project. And so I wouldn't be doing this because it's a risky thing and it puts a target on your back, and there's a lot of stress that can come with a project. Everybody talks about how terrible it is to run a project and the stress. And I'm like, only reason I'm doing this is because I feel like I have an ace up my sleeve. I feel like I have this genius idea that's better than almost every idea I've ever heard when it comes to crypto projects. And, you know, it just comes down to, will people believe in it or not, you know? So the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Oh, the wheel is control token. Appreciate the effort. Control token to the 12-month rewards. How to share the link to it. Sorry. Oh, that's okay. I can share it back on the YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. Thanks for hanging out, Mitch. Thanks for hanging out, Chris from Colorado, Algosaurus. And anybody who watches this, you can reach out to me on Twitter. DM me on Twitter if you have any questions. You can join the Discord. I'll put the link in the Discord in the description on this video. I need to stop it because if people are going to see an hour-long video and they're not going to watch it. And I have to give everybody an opportunity to join this because it might help them. It might do well for them just like Evergrow did. But I do feel very confident in it. I have a natural, calm confidence in it. Maybe it bombs. If it bombs, then I'll take the L and say that's my bad, guys. I tried. But if it bombs, it won't be because I didn't try or structure everything as good as possible for the benefit of the future of the project or being a bad actor. It's not going to be because I stole the liquidity or because I wasted funds. If this doesn't do well, it's not going to be because I deceived people or scammed people. But this also, I always try to give both the positive and the negative. This also, in my mind, I think this is something that could really blow up. I hope it does. I hope it helps people. And I hope it kind of sends a message to all the DeFi about the reality of the bad actors in this space and the advantage, how they're taking advantage of everybody. Maybe we can start to create a structure that actually starts to protect. Because if you think about it, how many projects would explode if people weren't rugging, dumping, botting, pump and dumping, giving out tokens? That's all negative sentiment. It's all red candles on the chart that aren't earned. They're not helping the project grow. There's probably scams that would explode if the person wouldn't have rugged the liquidity. People aren't letting projects grow. And even if you get rid of all those bad actors, the whales can't let it grow because they're not incentivized to let it grow. They're incentivized to sell before each other, and they're incentivized to sell on everybody getting in after them. The structure it's failure by design, right? And the design is outside of all the terrible actors in the space. It's in the liquidity pool and how the liquidity pool operates. And so I am addressing the actual problem that I don't see anyone addressing. I think I might be the only one. I could be wrong, right? But I think I might be the only one who's actually addressed the problem of this space. And if that's true, then this has potential to really explode, right? I don't know. Anyways, the other issue with these tokens is that there is no IP protecting you. Anybody can create a token with exactly the same structure. So what's to differentiate if it has no utility? What happens if, say, somebody with much higher profile realizes you have a really good idea and then starts a token with exactly the same reward structure? How will people choose you? Yeah, Patrick, I've thought about that. Anybody, you guys can right now go start a project, go copy it. I have established myself as a voice of truth and the face of opposition by covering Safemoon and as a voice of giving an early warning about Evergrow. And so that's my starting point. And so all I have is the people who know me can say that I didn't steal this from somebody. I came up with this myself. And the reason I came up with this is because this is how I think. Like, I think about ideas that actually help people. I think about what's the actual my thought process is obsessed with getting to the root of anything. When I talk about religion, when I think about relationship issues, I'm always like, what's at the root? What's actually at the very source? What is the source? That's my obsessive thinking. That's why I've thought of all these things. It's because I'm always thinking, what is the source? So what would no, it's a good question, Patrick. Here's my thing is, like, of course people could just take this idea, but those people are probably going to take advantage of people. And anybody can come along and take this idea, but nobody can come along and say they created this. Like, I am the first because this is how I think. And that's what separates me from whoever might come along and steal this idea. And I'm actually okay with people if they use it in a good way. I don't care. But I think I am the first one to do it. And I think people are afraid to touch tax tokens. And I think that nobody really understands this vision You'd have to like literally copy word for word for what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Otherwise, there's no way to portray this without just literally copying everything that I'm saying, and then I could just prove that, hey, I created this way before they did. But if you have somebody come along and try to copy this, you're probably going to have that type of thinking go into the project. If they're willing to steal a project without giving credit, then that's the kind of thinking that's going into all their decision making for that project when it comes to marketing, the future of the project, how they deal with holders. Well, they're already willing to take advantage of other people at the cost of others, right? To take my idea at the cost of other people. That's gonna go into how they run the project. That's gonna go into how they interact with the liquidity pool, how they interact with their holders. They're gonna take advantage of you. The entire point of my project is it's not to take advantage of you, and I think that's just gonna have to speak for itself over time. It can't just be trust me, bro. But you know what I mean? The point is that I thought of all of this myself. I didn't have somebody else give this to me. I literally just was obsessively thinking about why projects weren't working and how you could fix it. And I was thinking about it because of tokenomics, because I was seeing that whales were getting too much value and it was destroying the project. And I was like, how do you fix this? We need to take value away from them. How do we do that? What do we do with that value? How do we preserve it? How do we give it to the people who deserve it the most? You know, how do we reward the people who help the project grow? And how do we, punish, not too much, because if you destroy incentive of a liquidity pool, then no one's going to buy it. That's why the tax can't be super high. I think the tax is actually a very good amount, 15 and 20. All fair points. Appreciate your response. I've been following you for a long time, by the way. No, 100%, Patrick. I appreciate you asking that. I want to hear people's criticism, which, by the way, I've talked to a lot of people. The only people, I really need to end this because people might not watch it if it's too long, but I've talked to people who, the criticism that I've gotten, in my opinion, has all been jealousy. Like, I used to debate a lot. I would debate atheists, and I would debate different religions. And it's kind of like, I want to hear your opposition so I can think through my position, right? Because you might be offering ideas that I wouldn't come to myself, because I might just be confirming my own beliefs. So I want to hear opposing ideas. This is how I think. You could ask my fiance, always asking her, I could be wrong. What do you think? I even start to try to throw out the opposing idea of what I believe to see if it has any weight to it, because that's how important the truth is, finding the truth is, right? And so when I've been doing that with this project, and all the criticisms I've heard have confirmed. Like, I've had people be like, well, you know, somebody said, and this guy's a smart guy, he said, like, if you don't give out rewards at all, then whales aren't going to hold, and they're gonna sell. And I'm like, I know, that's why we give out monthly rewards, 6-month rewards, and 12-month rewards. And the monthly are, you know, they're small. It's kind of a taste, but there's still rewards there. 6-month is going to be twice as big. Whatever the past 6 months were, the 6-month reward is going to be twice as big as all of those, because the tax is twice as much. So it's good criticism. And then I've talked to other people, and I've heard other people where I think they were just jealous and they just didn't like the project, because my project kind of is an attack on all of DeFi. It's saying a couple things. Liquidity pools are pyramid structures that are going to destroy your project because it incentivizes people to destroy your project. That's an attack on all of DeFi. Everybody has a liquidity pool. Almost every liquidity pool operates that way. The whales get the dominance. The whales tank the price. They get the profit. Everyone's dealing with that problem. Everyone's going to feel attacked by control token. The other thing is that I'm saying that everyone is trying to say, where's utilities? And I'm saying, look, that's just an idea. And it's not the idea, but it's people, whether that's going to affect the price. It's whether or not people believe that idea that's going to affect the price. And it's whether or not you sell on that, people believing that idea, that you're going to take profit or not. Because by the time you get to that utility, if it comes out, it's probably not going to produce enough profit to change the chart. As I always say, if anybody could go and start a utility that's going to generate enough profit to change a chart, then how much money would that be for themselves? Why wouldn't you just go make that utility for yourself and make millions of dollars? Why would you go and try to create a utility and then share that utility with thousands to tens of thousands of holders and hope that the profit from the utility causes them to buy it? Now, I'm not saying that that's not possible, or that I don't believe that SquidGrow, Vitreous, and Evergrow actually have realistic potential of doing that. I'm just saying it's very, very hard to do that. You have to either have a unique idea that hasn't been done before that's really needed, or just a solid business plan and a history of being successful in business and a lot of marketing funds. Evergrow, Vitreous, and Squid Grow all have that. That's why those are actually possible. And I'm sure there's other ones in the space. But most projects in the space that are promising utilities, they're just doing it to get you to buy because it's a more convincing idea. Like, we're going to start, this business where we take a percentage of, we sell homes and we take a percent, and that goes back to buying and burning the token. Okay, I'll buy into that. I promise you, it's the belief in the ideas that's going to affect the charts. It's not the actual ideas themselves, when the ideas are promises of future events that hopefully lead to more people buying. And so control token kind of is an attack on all of DeFi. And I tried to think about, how do I word this in a way that doesn't piss people off? Because I know that a lot of people, if you have a project and you hear control token, you're probably going to be offended by it. And I have to think of a way to communicate this without offending people, and without just crapping on someone's project, because I'm being real. I feel like I'm just being real. And unfortunately, the reality of most projects, but even the ones who just have people who have good intentions and are trying their best, the reality of it is that they're probably not going to get the momentum they need. The whales are going to be the only one that benefit. If they do get some kind of price action at all, the whales are probably going to stunt that growth and it's going to die if it's not already dead. Utilities probably aren't going to change that. It just has people hoping that something will happen. Most projects, that's just the reality. So I don't know. Anyways, I really need to end this. He's got a lot to say. It's funny that he's very aware of how short everybody's attention spans are, so he has to keep his videos concise. Yeah, I'll end it here. It was great talking to you, Patrick. I'll see you in the Discord. And Mitch, you should definitely join the Discord as well, if you're not already in there. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I'll probably have a video out tomorrow. And I'm going to work on a really good quality Safemoon video to try to just reach out to them, to tell them, like, hey, here's where Safemoon failed you, and this is what would have fixed it, and I've created it for you. If you don't like it, don't do it. But if you do, jump on the ship with me. Let's see where this ship goes. Whether it goes down and explodes and we all die, and I'm like, hey, am I bad? Or whether we go and we actually go to the moon and you say, wow, I'm so glad I followed you. Cheers, Patrick. Cheers, Mitch. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day.